posted any videos in years for Benzo Survivor, but I have a request. And Saint 927 is 17 months in to the detox process. And it can be brutal. I've talked about that in other videos. The benzo withdrawals are the worst. And they're confusing. Okay? I lived for years wondering if I had some type of anxiety disorder, right? Because generally, when you're detoxifying from a chemical that you're addicted to, it doesn't last more than maybe a couple months, right? You may have some, trouble adjusting your chemical balance of your body or whatever, but the benzo withdrawals are brutal. And it's confusing because you go in to a period of where you feel like you're getting better, and then it just, blam, you're back. And you never know when it's going to happen. It's kind of like waves coming in. I remember when I went through the detox process, sometimes it was like clockwork. There were certain days of the week where I knew that it was going to kick in again. I might get a little break during the week, and by Friday it would be on. And Saturday and Sunday, it was just a nightmare. It seems like you're dealing with something that's literally alive, like you're dealing with an entity. That's what it felt like for me. But the thing about it. For me, I went through, I went through that up and down type of scenario for around 2 years and 8 months, and then it just stopped. It just never came back. It's never come back. And that would have been sometime in the middle of June of 2016, and I started, it was around the 15th of November 2013. So, yeah, I mean, if you're looking for some motivation or for some comfort, which everybody that's going through benzo withdrawals, you need that. You need encouragement. You need to be reminded that this will end. It's simply going to stop. At least it did for me. I went into what I thought was just another wave of benzo withdrawal. Except it was a lot weaker than normal. It was pretty mild compared to what I was used to. I've seen people with panic disorder, where they feel like they're having a heart attack. They call the ambulance or whatever. They go to the hospital, and it goes away. But it comes on, and it's insane. It feels like you're dying. That's kind of what I was used to. But the final time it happened, it took 3 days, and it came on. It was like a mild panic attack, not a whole lot of sleep, I just figured I'd ride the wave, because it's kind of what you have to do. And then it just stopped. And it never came back. And I always had a little bit of anxiety under the surface. It's kind of like, when you take your medication, because you get used to the benzos. It doesn't work very well. You're either going through the withdrawals, or you get about an hour or two where you kind of catch your breath, depending on how much you're taking or what kind of benzo it is. At least that's the way it was for me. But there was always a residual anxiety under the surface, no matter what. And you kind of have to force feed yourself. You take your dose, and unless you got a really big dose. I think it probably there was a few times where I went over what I was recommended to take. I'll just put it that way. I think a lot of people that are addicted to this stuff know what I'm talking about, because it doesn't work anymore. And a lot of people get persecuted because they're accused of being junkies or whatever. But it just the dosage inevitably gets like that. Not to get too far off what I was saying, But, there was always that anxiety there, but that was gone. It was gone. After that attack lasted for about 3 days, and then it just disappeared. And I knew something was different because I just felt awesome. And I kind of want to focus in on that a little bit. It's like being a little kid. That's what was running through my mind. Because when you're a kid, you don't need drugs or anything like that, or chemicals or whatever. You just need a football, maybe some video games, a pizza, a milkshake or something, and life is wonderful, right? And it was like that. I didn't need anything. I wasn't anxious under the surface. I literally felt like I got my life back, and it was awesome. Okay. I've heard of other people saying that it wasn't like that for them, that they kind of walked out of it and then it just, kind of went away. But, however it works out, I think it's going to be like when you were a kid, or if you remember a time, in your past where you just felt great because, you've been acclimated to torment, right? If you're an addict who's going through withdrawals all the time, or you don't have any peace unless you have your medication, you're going to feel high just, being normal. Being normal is going to be, for me, it was, way more than if I was to take an extra dose, which I was talking about before. Sometimes I would go over what the recommended dosage was, and sometimes I'd go way over just to see if I could get to that point where I felt normal, right? And I mean, I'm not even going to say how much, but I went out there to where it was many, many doses that I would take at once. I had to quit. When you do that, you're really screwing yourself, because then your medication really doesn't work. You want to try and find total relief. Then it's worse. I know guys that I used to hang around with that were addicted to that stuff, and they wanted complete relief, and they would end up running out of their medicine, and the doctors would fire them, and it was, you got to deal with that stuff. But in order to get to the way I feel now, or the way I felt when the benzo withdrawals went away, I would have had to take multiple different kinds of narcotics just to get to the point that I am now, just being normal. Because that's the way it is when you're an addict. You forget what it's like. You kind of remember. You kind of go down your memory lane, and you remember when you were a kid, and you just weren't worried about that kind of stuff or whatever. That's probably why I have a tendency to look at it that way. But it's just like being in a dark hole, and just getting to the point where you feel normal it's impossible. You start out getting high to where your anxiety goes away and you feel like you're on cloud nine, and it's such a wonderful solution. I can't believe I lived my life without this stuff. The pills seem like a miracle until until you become addicted, and then it's hell on earth, a chemical hell, and that's where you are right now. And Saint 927, it sounds to me, I'm only guessing, that you have faith, that you believe in God, and I'm assuming that, of course. If that's not what it is, I would suggest that you consider that. There's a lot of good material out there. Mike Winger, Soteriology 101. A lot of stuff. Andrew Farley, he's really good. There's a lot of stuff on YouTube, and I would use the opportunity when you start to go through the withdrawals and you start to feel crummy, and I think the spiritual dimension takes advantage of that. I would just draw near to Christ. I would draw near to God. I would just immerse myself in teaching, maybe look at some interesting stuff to distract your mind. Joel Richardson has some really good stuff concerning the Antichrist and prophecy. I actually have a channel. You probably wouldn't be able to find it. There's only 12 subscribers on that. And that's called Bible Answers Revealed. But probably, like I said, it'd probably be almost impossible to find. But that would be a productive way to deal with anxiety. Some of you out there that are going to be listening to this video, you might not want to do that. I would study something that interests you, anything to distract your mind. And that's the good thing about prophecy and some of the other stuff that you're going to be dealing with concerning Christianity, because it's like a puzzle. You really have to concentrate on that stuff. It's very interesting. Michael Heiser has got some really good material, and you can learn about the spiritual dimension. You can learn about the different types of spirits, the true meaning of Armageddon. A lot of things out there. The birthday of Christ. He went, and I think he figured out it was September 11th or November 11th, I can't remember right now, but he went back and used the book of Revelation and star charts to figure this really interesting stuff out there that you can focus on and actually turn this into something productive. And by the way, if you have any special requests for videos, just let me know. I know it's lonely. I know people that are detoxing from benzos. They need affirmation. No one understands what you're going through. Even the medical community, they don't know about this stuff. It was covered up. It's literally a conspiracy, unless there's new information out there I'm not aware of. I was told that I was never going to be able to detox. I was told that I was going to be taking this stuff for the rest of my life, that when I was trying to get clean, that I was just beating myself up. And the other thing that can happen is people can become scapegoats, okay? People will start venting their frustrations on you, because you're going to be going through a lot of suffering, you're going to be going through a lot of stuff, and you're vulnerable, and you're an easy target, and people are like that, unfortunately. If any of you need a video about that, the harassment that someone can experience while they're trying to heal, just let me know about that. I can make you a video there, I guarantee you that. But focus on the end, because it's gonna stop. It will stop. This isn't gonna last forever, and you're gonna get your life back, and it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be wonderful. It's going to be just like when you were a kid. Keep that in the forefront of your mind, because it gets rough. It does. And some of the people around you, they might not be very encouraging. So if you want another video, 927, Saint 927, just let me know. Hang in there. Be good to yourself. Be safe.